Hello and welcome. This is Parliament News. First up, news from the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha proceedings returned to normalcy today after a brief adjournment as the House took the Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill 2020 for consideration and passage. But the question hour could not proceed beyond half an hour as Speaker Om Birla adjourned the House after expressing his anger at the TRS members over their continued protests from the well of the House over farmers' issues. Now, this is the third consecutive day that the question hour was disrupted since the winter session of Parliament commenced on Monday. Members of the TRS shouted slogans and displayed placards over farmer issues in the well of the House during question hour. Speaker Om Birla told the protesting members it was not the right thing to do. He emphasized that the question hour was important. Now, when a senior member is speaking, you people are protesting, he said. What kind of practice are you trying to bring into the House? A peeved Birla told the protesting members. The Speaker also urged the members to make efforts to ensure that such wrong behavior and practices are stopped in the House. He said, your behavior in the House is not right, it is wrong, and the House cannot run like this. Now, 4 questions and their supplementaries were taken up during question hour, which went on for nearly half an hour. As the protest by the members of the TRS continued, Speaker adjourned the proceedings till noon. Now, during 0 hour, BJP's Nishikant Dubey urged the centre to bring a law soon to implement a uniform civil code in the country. Raising the issue, Dubey said the Allahabad High Court had last month asked the centre to consider setting up a panel for implementing the mandate of Article 44 of the Constitution, which speaks about a uniform civil code for the citizens throughout the territory of India. Now, even after 75 years of independence, India has not been able to bring in a uniform civil code, he said. He asked the government to soon bring a law to implement it. Now, speaking during 0 hour, Congress MP from Kerala, Shashi Tharoor, raised the issue of non-subsidized kerosene given to the southern state through the Public Distribution System, or the PDS. He urged the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas to increase the allocation of non-subsidized PDS kerosene to Kerala to help the fishermen community. In the House, the Joint Committee of Parliament examining the Personal Data Protection Bill was given an extension till the last week of the ongoing winter session of Parliament to submit their report. The bill seeking to provide for the protection of personal data of individuals and establish a data protection authority for the same was brought in Parliament in 2019 and was referred to the Joint Committee for further scrutiny on the demand of opposition members. Now, PP Chaudhary of the ruling BJP moved a motion seeking extension up to the last week of winter session of Parliament for the 30-member panel to submit its report. The ongoing session ends on 23rd December. Now, this is for the 6th time the committee's tenure has been extended. The Personal Data Protection Bill seeks to regulate the use of individuals' data by the government and private companies alike. The Joint Committee of Parliament on the Personal Data Protection Bill 2019 had last month adopted the report on the bill, which provided the government with powers to give exemptions to its probe agencies from the provisions of the Act, a move opposed by opposition MPs who filed their dissenting notes. Opposition leaders have been opposing certain provisions of the bill, including giving unbridled powers to the state and its agencies for use of personal data. Now, the Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill 2020 was tabled in the House by Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia. It seeks regulation and supervision of the assisted reproductive technology clinics and the assisted reproductive technology banks as well. Now, this provides for measures for prevention of misuse, safe and ethical practice of assisted reproductive technology services and related matters. Now, moving the Assistive Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill, which proposes establishment of a national registry and registration authority for all clinics and medical professionals serving in the field, Minister Mandavia noted the bill was tabled in Parliament in September last year and the lower house referred it to the Standing Committee. Now, many suggestions came from the Standing Committee and government has considered those recommendations, he said. The Standing Committee report on the bill was submitted in March earlier this year. Now, the Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill seeks for the regulation of and supervision of the assisted reproductive technology ART clinics and the assisted reproductive technology banks, prevention of misuse, safe and ethical practice of assisted reproductive technology services, and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto to be taken into consideration. Now, many such ART clinics have been running in the country without any regulation. Now, a need was felt for regulation of such clinics as it has implication on the health of women, especially those who undertake the procedure. Now, initiating debate on the bill, Karthi Chidambaram of the Congress said this law is a Victorian law as it is not all-encompassing. It excludes those who could not afford this expensive procedure for a baby, and the government should consider supporting poor childless parents for taking help of ART, Chidambaram said. He also suggested that the government should consider including lesbian, gay, bisexual or transgender in this bill. Hina Gavith of the BJP said the bill seeks to set minimum standards and codes of conduct for fertility clinics and egg or sperm banks. It also proposes stringent punishment for those practicing sex selection and sale of human embryos or gametes. She said that about 80% ART clinics are not registered, and the bill will ensure strict adherence to the guidelines. TMC MP Kakoli Ghosh Datidhar also mentioned scientist and a pioneer of test tube baby Subhash Mukherjee was recently recognized by the Mamata Banerjee-led government in Bengal for his work in the field 4 decades after his death. Speaking on the bill, Datidhar, herself a specialist in the field, said experts should be involved at every level to monitor the provisions of this bill. To Rajya Sabha now, the issue of suspension of 12 opposition MPs continued to create a storm in the Rajya Sabha for the third day in the winter session of Parliament today, with the members of the opposition disrupting proceedings of the House in protest against this action. Proceedings on the third day of the session began with oath of affirmation Jose K. Money of KCM. Now, the oath of affirmation was followed by the laying of papers on the floor of the House. Afterwards, members of the opposition were on their feet demanding revocation of suspension of 12 opposition MPs over unruly behaviour in the monsoon session of Parliament. Repeated pleas by Chairman Venkaiah Naidu to members to allow proceedings of the House fell on deaf ears. Members of the opposition entered the well of the House, raised slogans against the government and demanded revocation of suspension of those 12 opposition lawmakers. Chairman Naidu lamented that there is no remorse among members over the behaviour during the previous session. Terming the behaviour of the opposition as unparliamentary and undemocratic, the chair said the members have insulted the parliamentary system. He said they want to disrupt 0 hour and question hour. The entire country is watching the conduct of the members. Now, when the sloganeering continued, Chairman Naidu adjourned the House till 12 noon. When the House reassembled, leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, rose on his seat to raise the issue of suspension of the 12 opposition MPs. He said he wanted to bring attention to grievances of the members, but Deputy Chairman Harivansh disallowed him and said he would only allow issues relating to questions hour. Soon after, members of the opposition parties, including Congress, DMK and TRS, trooped into the well of the House. With the uproar persisting, the Deputy Chairman adjourned the House till 2 p.m. When the House reassembled at 2 p.m., the leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, sought to raise the issue of the suspension of the members again, but Deputy Chairperson Harivansh disallowed him. This was followed by an uproar by members of the opposition parties. The members entered the well of the House in protest, and amid the uproar, Deputy Chairperson asked Jal Shakti Minister to move the Dam Safety Bill 2019 for consideration. The bill was moved for consideration and amid noisy scenes by the opposition. Speaking on the bill, the minister highlighted the importance of water in the lives of people. The bill aims to provide robust legal and institutional framework under central and state governments for safety of dams. It envisages prevention and mitigation of dam failure, related disasters through proper surveillance, inspection, operation and maintenance of all dams in the country. The bill provides for constitution of a National Committee on Dam Safety to evolve dam safety policies and recommend necessary restrictions and regulations. Now, the NCDS is proposed to be chaired by Chairman CWC. It provides for establishment of National Dam Safety Authority, or the NDSA, as a regulatory body to implement the policy, guidelines and standards for dam safety in the country. The bill also provides for constitution of a State Committee on Dam Safety by the state governments to ensure proper surveillance, inspection and operation and maintenance of all specified dams in the state and to ensure their safe functioning. Now, speaking on the bill, on the motion, Mr. Shekhawat said we have more than 5,000 dams and many of them are more than 25 years old. Even as he spoke, the uproar by opposition continued. And when the uproar persisted, the deputy chair adjourned the House till 3 p.m. When the House reassembled at 3 p.m., the acting Vice Chair, Bhubaneswar Kalita, asked the members to continue their speech, but opposition members were on their feet, demanding that the leader of the opposition be allowed to speak on suspension of the MPs. However, acting chairperson first asked the protesting members to maintain order in the House. Amidst the uproar, the opposition members entered the well of the House, again shouting slogans against the government and demanding their revocation. Now, with the uproar persisting, the chair adjourned the House for the day. Now, this is the third day in succession that the opposition has disrupted proceedings of the House on the suspension of those 12 opposition members. The MPs were on Monday suspended for the rest of the winter session for unruly scenes during the monsoon session of Parliament, which ended. And with that, it's a wrap on the Parliament News. Thanks for watching.